Hello, everybody, and welcome to Thunderstorm. I'm Sliv, and with me is Rin.
Howdy.
And Kaz.
Follow me. Set me free.
But most importantly, the nameless guest.
I want to escape from this podcast.
Now, boys, unlike a city escape, we just seen Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Wow.
That segue was atrocious. Yes, we just got out of seeing the third
Damn.
Sonic movie.
I guess a City Escape didn't see Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Yeah.
Spoilers ahead, by the way, for the movie, in case you're planning on seeing it. Probably see it first and come back. So, how you guys feeling about this one?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. There was no wedding between the guy from Criminal Minds and Tika Sumpter's sister.
Yeah, it was... This movie was good. Like, I had a good time watching it, and the main thing I was glad about is that it had a full plot that was focused on, like, Sonic and Eggman and, the conflicts going on there. It didn't have the biggest problem I found with Sonic 2, which was there was just a random B-plot about a wedding that really sucked. So it was just like it was a full movie about Sonic, and that was good.
Yeah, absolutely agree. That was definitely the biggest issue of both the second one and, to a lesser extent, the first one. Just, I feel like you don't need to add a whole bunch of townspeople around these characters to make them fun or identifiable for people watching.
Yeah, generally speaking, the less time we spend with Eggman humans, the better. I don't mind Sonic's dad and his mom. Like, they're fine, I guess, but it is better when they're not there. Not to say that they're bad at all, it's just that I don't care about them. I'm kind of here for Sonic and Co.
I think that's really notable, considering we were coming out of Knuckles earlier this year, feeling really fucking bad. That was an entire show that felt like a B plot, just completely worthless, almost in every way.
What, you didn't like the Wade Whipple show and how it paid off so well in Sonic the Hedgehog 3?
And ultimately, I think that they seemingly learned from that. They learned that nobody, not even the fucking kids in the theater, cared about the stupid wedding. They focused up. They showed us what mattered. They added a new tone to this franchise, which was darker, and a new lesson to go with it. And I think ultimately this was a good time. And I think kids will hopefully take something kind of useful from this movie, which is that, there are ways to deal with grief. And I think that is explored really well, surprisingly well, from this movie. This is not the best kids movie I've seen this year. That still goes to Transformers 1, but I think this was fantastic. I think this is the best movie in the franchise.
Yeah, I can largely agree with that. I mean, I think one of the big strengths that this movie had going in is that it's taking the Sonic movie characters and putting them in the story of Sonic Adventure 2. And I think Sonic Adventure 2 is probably the best, just pure story in a Sonic game. I'm not saying it's the best game, but in terms of, what's actually happening and characters doing stuff, I think it's one of the better ones, for sure.
I will say it does take a lot of liberties to kind of make it fit that 2-hour runtime.
Well,
And not necessarily always for the better. I still think Sonic Adventure 2's story overall is a better story than this movie.
Well, yeah, Sonic Adventure 2, I'm just saying that it's an adaptation of that for this movie universe. Because obviously if you wanted to fully adapt that, you would need a few more characters and probably more runtime and a giant CG lizard. And I don't think they wanted to do that.
Those cowards didn't give us a giant lizard and they didn't shoot the child. I'm pissed.
Yeah.
It's 0 to 10. They didn't shoot the child.
What's it? I saw some people talking that the monster in the monster movie they're watching in the flashback, was that supposed to be the bio lizard?
It looked like it.
It wasn't something I was actively thinking about when I saw it. So now I'm just trying to remember exactly what it looked like. It might have been a complete reference to the Bio Lizard.
Well, you know what? You might have to just go see Sonic 3 again to double check.
Shouts to all the
No.
Bio Lizard boys in chat, by the way.
By Lizard Boys. The other thing I did see was they did have references to the game like scattered around, like the scene where there's the two guards watching over the tank that Shadow's in. There's the little figure of the robot enemy from Sonic Adventure 2 sitting on the desk.
And I liked thinking of like a game reference. It's not a reference to Sonic Adventure 2, but like when they're skydiving, they do the like a Sonic Heroes flying formation at one point,
Yeah.
which I thought was kind of fun. I was almost expecting them to do like the triangle glide that they do in Sonic Heroes during that skydive section. I think they're taking the source material and working with it pretty decently in this. I think better than the first two, which were generally their own kind of somewhat original stories. Whereas this one is definitely more of an adaptation.
Yeah, for sure.
Watching the credits, notably the first name to pop up in the actor list was Jim Carrey, who has carried this fucking franchise on his back. How do we feel about him in this movie?
This might be a hot take, and I briefly mentioned when we left the theater. I feel like Jim Carrey, to an extent, held this movie back slightly. I feel like there were moments where we hit the point that the stakes could not get higher, and he is still doing the same slapstick jokes that he was doing. Like, everyone else is super serious, and there's this goofball in the background, and I didn't really like that he couldn't change gears, like, ever.
Yeah, I will say that like I don't know, I don't know what I want to call them, the Jim Carrey moments where it felt like they just said, do whatever you want for this section. You're free. Those are funny. Like I don't think they're bad. Like the weird VR family montage and the like laser dance show. Those are funny scenes, but they're complete non sequiturs. They're just Jim Carrey non sequiturs.
Yeah.
And while enjoyable, they don't, I guess, add anything to the plot. They're just like a funny moment.
I guess maybe you could get away with it a bit more, and they would be a little bit better, in my opinion, if, like, once you hit the Eclipse cannon and Eggman gets betrayed, then he's taking it seriously, and he's not still joking. He's
Yeah,
still being kind of a goofball and kind of joking around when, realistically, like, he should be kind of taking this seriously in some capacity, or at least be upset, and he doesn't seem like actually upset.
yeah. The fight between him and Gerald Robotnik, where they're both like wielding nanobot bug body parts, is like really goofy for the point of the movie it's at. It shouldn't be like that goofy. Gerald Robotnik should just like create like a nano, like I don't know, arm cannon and shoot a paralyzing shot at Robotnik or something. You shouldn't be pulling out like a giant fist or
Giant fist that he was saving for Comic-Con.
yeah. Like again, it's not a bad joke. It's just it at that point in the movie, it felt a bit weird. I do like his like final thing with Dr. Stone before he dies. I think that was good. And it feels like a moment where Jim Carrey can never come back. Like if he decided to never return for 4 and onwards, it's fine. His character's done. He did something good and he felt some fulfillment and he's out. But they could still bring him back. They can pull some science mumbo jumbo where the explosion opened like a space-time rift and, I don't know, threw him somewhere else, right?
He went where the 2 gun agents from Knuckles ended up.
Yeah, something like that. They can do whatever with that. But it's like it's in a good place where if he wanted to leave, he can. And if he wants to come back, they can bullshit a reason. There's nothing stopping that.
Yeah, we didn't see a body, so no one's ever really
No one's ever really gone.
I just want to say I find it fascinating that you, in particular, Nameless guest, mentioned that the dance scene in this movie was funny when we were both like feeling the pinch of cringe from the dance scene in the second movie where they just start dancing with like some Slovenian people in the mountains or something.
I think you have a bigger problem with that than I did. My biggest issue is the wedding. That scene's not great either. But the main reason I don't have as big an issue with this is because I realize, this is Jim Carrey non sequitur. I don't have to care about it too much, right? It's just like he's being weird to be funny, and I can move past that and like move on. I'm not like as invested in Jim Carrey's antics, I guess.
They left the weird shit to the weird guy, is all I'm gonna say. We didn't have a second plot.
I'm really glad that there wasn't a B plot that detracted from the primary plot.
Yeah, we need to stop mentioning that we're glad that there's not a B plot because we brought it up a lot.
No, it's actually so important though.
We're still angry about the wedding. Okay, how do we feel about Shadow? Let's go to Shadow because none of us have really talked about him that much.
Yo, Shadow's cool as fuck.
I think they got him right. They got him exactly right. Say what you will about celebrity voice acting.
That performance was breathtaking.
Keanu was pretty fucking Kino. Am I right or am I right, boys?
One of those times. It just perfect choice.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
forget. Sorry, thinking about the voice actors, I forget who voices Tails again. Is it actually just a regular Tails voice actor?
Yes, it's Colin
Yes.
O'Shaughnessy. Is that Boom Tails? I feel like that's Boom Tails.
I think that's Tails for a while, Tails.
I don't know what that means.
Tails for a very long time.
I still don't know what that means.
Let me explain. They have had one Tails voice for a fairly long time, and
Nice.
pretty much everything.
Yeah, she's been Tails in like all the Boom stuff, at least Forces and Frontiers, and probably some stuff before that. I was doing a quick Wikipedia. Also, Charmy Bee, so that's great.
Well, they're unforgivable now. I hate the guts.
To know that's on the table for the fourth movie.
Thank
Tails
God.
since 2014.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
For 10 years.
I was like, I couldn't remember if like they changed it, but it was just like so spot on to the games, which makes sense because it's literally one of the Tails voice actors from the games.
I think it makes sense. It's harder to find someone that can do a voice like that that's a celebrity.
Yeah, for sure. No, it was well done. But yeah, I think Keanu did a good job as Shadow. He doesn't talk like too much in comparison to maybe like Sonic, but that's because Sonic is a character who speaks a lot, and Shadow is a character who would speak a lot less, like just personality wise.
Yeah, the main thing with Shadow is like we were all kind of at the very least I was very worried that they would really skimp out on that backstory around the time when we watched Knuckles, because I was worried this whole franchise was just going to be a dumb, stupid bowling trip. But I think that the parts that they needed to show were shown. The kids in the audience seemed to, I don't know, be interested. Usually, when you see like a kids movie, there's at least one kid that like won't shut the fuck up the entire time. I could say that all the kids around us seemed pretty invested in the story. They seemed to understand what was going on. I appreciated that.
Well, Kaz, that's because we were the kids that didn't shut up the entire time.
Well, that's true, but that's only because Robotnik pissed on the moon at the end.
Yeah, you did.
Um,
I really enjoyed that part where it was all points and no quills.
and he did make a post on his Twitter.com announcing to his
that
assistant.
he loved Agent Stone. Yeah,
I did hear like some of the kids going, "Oh, Shadow!" like throughout the movie, so it was clear they like got invested into the character, which was really cool. I like Shadow. I like how they handled Shadow overall.
Yeah, I thought it was good. He has like there's like I guess a cute montage of him and Maria to show that they liked each other.
I feel that we do miss a small thing in that it wasn't like a Maria sacrificing herself thing. It was just
Yeah.
It was just a freak accident instead.
Yeah, we don't get a Sayonara Shadow the Hedgehog. It was just, well, I mean, the guy was planning to shoot them,
Yeah.
but someone pushed the gun and hit the chaos energy, yada yada. Which, I mean, I get why they did that.
Yeah, you can't destroy the child.
yeah that would up the age rating too much to shoot the child.
Cowards.
But it does lose the sacrifice, which is unfortunate.
It still gets there, but not as effectively.
Yes,
I will say they do a good job of showing why Shadow cares about Maria. They do not do a great job of showing why Gerald cares about Maria.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's his granddaughter, but like, he clearly doesn't love all of his grandkids. So, like, that's a bit weird. Apparently he takes her everywhere, but he doesn't take Ivo everywhere. I don't know if he was even alive there. I don't know how old Eggman is supposed to canonically be at this point. That's a bit weird. Just in, like, his motivation feels a bit flimsy in that, I don't know. Oh, why does he love this one granddaughter so much more than all his other grandkids? And, like, what was he a good person before she died? Was her dying what made him evil, or was he always kind of an asshole? Because he seems like a complete clone of Ivo. They seem like almost the same character in a lot of ways.
Yeah, because like something the original does a lot better is they show that like Gerald is a broken shell of a man locked in a prison cell, like on death row, basically, just rotting and like detached from reality and broken. You don't get that here because it's Jim Carrey,
Yeah.
and you have to you have to tone it down a bit. But I think you lose a little bit of something by having Gerald be this carbon copy and never really show his motivation in action, like in the past.
Do you ever think we're gonna get a movie without humans?
I
No.
think we're
Do you
stuck with
think?
them.
Do you think after the third movie their contracts are up?
I mean, obviously, what's happening is, every movie they're introducing a new character, right? So, because we saw the post-credit scene where Amy's there. So, just have to wait a few movies. Eventually we'll have, like, all of Sonic and his dumb friends. And we won't ever have to see a human again.
Yeah, but hear me out. Hear me out. Chris Thorndike.
I'm done hearing you out. I'm sending a remote missile to your location.
As far as I'm concerned, Donut Lord was Chris Thorndike.
Or Elise in Sonic the Hedgehog 6.
That's true. Sonic does need to kiss somebody by the end of this franchise.
Again, I think this movie cut down on humans a lot. The parents are still there, but we didn't get, like, the mom's, like, extended family, really.
He doesn't want to
they
say
were-
it. He doesn't want to say it.
Yeah.
Say it.
No, I'm just saying that, like, we didn't have a huge cast of human characters, and honestly, that works. Generally speaking, the only humans I really want would be, like, Eggman, who's probably gone now, and maybe, like, gun agents and stuff like that. People that facilitate the plot but aren't necessarily, like, super important. Like the gun lady in this. I don't know her name. She's fine. She could be in any movie.
I wonder if that gun general fucking died.
Presumably, yes. So it'd be stupid for him to give over the key card to Sonic and then not be dead. They kind of just abandoned that plot line.
Exactly. Yeah.
He gives Sonic the
Weird.
key card, not necessarily because he was going to die. I think he was always planning on doing that. It's that, he thinks Sonic would be able to keep it safer from Shadow than the rest of Gun, I guess, which is a bit weird.
Very strange.
Also, what's with Gun? They built the Ark completely of their own free will. They just did that, and it's filled with killer robots, and it's a giant death laser. They knew what it was.
Yeah, that's something that's also missing from the original, where it was all kind of a ploy. The Eclipse Cannon wasn't something Gunn knew about. But I guess like they had to find a way to get the Eggmen into space. And the easiest way is probably just have the thing on Earth and throw them up in it.
Gentlemen, I completely forget. Was Mr. Gun General like a big deal in the first two Sonic movies? Does
No.
anyone remember a scene with this guy?
He might be in the second one a little bit,
Yeah.
but I don't fully remember. It's been a bit.
I know he definitely wasn't in Knuckles.
Yep.
Knuckles was hardly in Knuckles. Let's be real here.
Real shit.
So real talk though, why wasn't Wade bowling? He was playing hockey.
Well, he needs to get
Because-
another trophy.
Yeah, of
Because
course.
he
of
needs
course.
to be able to get the emerald back. If he bowls it down the alley,
Yeah.
it's gonna break the machine.
Yeah, it's not a circular object.
Okay, makes enough sense.
That definitely does make enough sense.
I can't believe he got his own TV show, but only like 20 seconds of this movie.
I can. I'm glad that they
Oh.
introduced the Flames of Disaster in that show, and that was completely worthless as well.
You never know. It can come back. They can
It
bring
can
it
come
back.
back. It can be long-term storytelling.
In Sonic 7, I'm sure. Speaking of coming back, his assistant, Robotnik's assistant, mentioned
Stone?
in one very brief scene, like, I brought you back last time, or something like that. And I thought this was going to end up being like some kind of long plot where Shadow kills Chris Daddike, and then they use whatever method Mr. Assistant brought Robotnik back with to bring back him. But that also ended up just not being a thing.
He brought Robotnik back from Sonic's world, I believe, not from the dead.
Yeah, I don't believe Robotnik's ever canonically died and been
Didn't
brought
he-
back in this.
Did he not die in the end of the second movie?
No.
No, well, they probably thought he was dead, but he
Right.
definitely wasn't. He's only died right now in this movie, allegedly, unless Jim Carrey wants to come back.
He only dies when Jim Carrey dies, all right?
It's just he dies when Jim Carrey's bored.
I get it. He's a goofball. He's something for kids to laugh at, but somewhere out there, the fucking actor of Robbie Rotten is smiling down upon us whenever I see that man on screen.
I did quite like the action scenes, like when, just Sonic and Shadow and Tails and Knuckles are just running around doing stuff. I think they're well
Yeah.
animated and pretty fun. The final one where they're in space to live and learn is good, along with the
Yeah.
Sonic and
pretty
Shadow
huge, yeah.
posing like the intro movie of Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah, I appreciate that they didn't wuss out of using Live and Learn. Potentially they overused it in the movie.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Because they didn't use any other tracks from Sonic Adventure 2 other than that, but at least they actually used the one everyone was like, I feel worried wasn't going to show up.
I mean, yeah, there's one track that they had to use. It was Live and Learn. And they used it, and it was good. I mean, it only showed up in that final fight, so I wouldn't call it really an overuse.
They had different leitmotifs of it throughout, like, the rest of the soundtrack. Like, I believe it was in the flashback with Maria. At the very least, I remember when Shadow's waking up, he's having flashbacks to Maria playing it on a guitar. When the movie starts, it's the first thing you hear.
Okay.
I feel like just
my
at the end,
my background track blindness is or deafness is just kicking in here.
in the end, they overused it. I'm gonna say, like there were like 3 different scenes where it was used back to back, and it's like, no, you pick one. You pick the one when they're all fighting, and that's the one where you use it. Felt like they couldn't decide, so they just threw it around a bunch. And it is a good track, but it loses a little bit of impact when it's not used correctly.
Yeah, because, like, going back to the Sonic Adventure 2 example again, when you have that final boss fight, it feels like you are playing through a Dragon Ball Z battle, like an anime final battle.
Yeah.
And that's where a song like that works really well. It's something the adventure games do really well, is having great final boss battles because of that. I think
Yeah. 1, 2, and Sonic 06. Yes.
Yeah.
fuck off. I think that it loses that impact here. First off, you don't really have a big final boss. You have a bunch of small robots, which once again, I guess we're not animating the giant lizard. The laser beam is the final boss. But I think also if you had held off, if you'd used some of the different songs, it would have been
Yeah.
really cool. I do appreciate that they got a bunch of references in though. No in-flight movies with snacks. I'm out of here.
That felt a little bit forced.
It was a little forced.
It was very
He
forced, actually.
had to, like, turn before he jumps out of the airplane to say the line bar.
Yeah, come on.
But I do appreciate that it's in there.
The no movies line, it works better in, Adventure 2 when he's breaking out and he's saying that to, like, make fun of the gun agents as he's leaving. In this case, he's working with the gun agents, so it feels a bit weird.
But also, yeah, the Chow Garden was great. I want to go to the Chow Garden. Can we go?
Please. Yeah,
Can we go after this?
Can we use channel funds to go to the Chow Garden?
If we make a video about it, can it be tax deductible?
But if the Chow Garden's there, how are we going to introduce like actual chows?
Well, it's what they're based off of.
Yeah, they're
But
based off the aliens. The
how
Chow.
would the people there know that? Did just some guy in Japan discover a Chow and create a whole like little mascot
Nameless
franchise?
Cast, I think you're
based
asking
off
too many
of it?
questions.
No,
Yeah, no,
these are good questions to ask, and I think just the CEO of Chow Garden, the chain of cafes, just knows what chows are and thinks they're cool as fuck.
or marketable at the very least.
Yeah, very.
Or at the very
Chows are
least, he's
marketable.
picked one up and thrown one against a rock.
Not letting Kaz into my Chow Garden.
Where do you think this franchise is going? Because we are already looking at Sonic 4.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Sonic 4, from the teaser, Metal Sonic is real, and Amy is fighting them, because
And it
it's like a
can hurt you.
mass-produced. Yes. So, I mean, my guess there, like, Metal Sonic is obviously a bunch of grunt stuff, but throughout games, Metal Sonic has had many forms. Like, he's had, like,
Yeah.
upgraded forms. Like, I don't know, end of Sonic Heroes.
Yeah,
like,
I was
the
gonna
final
say
boss is,
maybe
like,
we're getting Metal Overlord or something.
something like that. So it would be like those are the grunts, and there's like some AI that's like, I don't know, building better and better Sonics. Why? I don't know. Like, I can't think of a good reason as to like who's building Metal Sonic and why. But Amy's there. She looks fine. Like,
Yeah, she looked like Amy.
she looks like Amy.
What kind of fine, Nameless Guest? Did she look fine or did she look fine?
I'll leave that to the viewer to decide. I don't know. There's not much to really go off there outside of Metal Sonic exists. And he's existed in a lot of forms across a lot of games. So there's no like direct plot that we can point at. Like when we saw Shadow, most people were like, are they going to do like the Sonic Adventure 2 plot? Because that makes the most sense. Here, I don't know, Metal Sonic's been in a few things, so he doesn't have like one story we can point at and going like, this should be it.
Well, the closest thing would be Sonic CD, but that's more of a fever dream than a story.
Fair.
Maybe it's a final FU by Dr. Robotnik. Like, in case he dies, he's just like, this is how I get that stupid hedgehog.
Like, as soon as he dies, it activates the
Mhm.
Metal Sonic protocol.
Oh, so I guess they couldn't do a Sonic CD sort of plot because it's clear that they're kind of establishing Amy as a little bit more independent than Sonic CD Amy.
I think in all media, they're trying to move Amy a bit away from some of her old characterization.
Which
Yeah.
I think we're all kind of down for. Like, Amy is so one note. I am super cool with taking this character in any kind of other direction.
That would generally be what I'm expecting. It could be some, I don't know what I would do, some AI that's trying to like make itself better and it's decided that it wants to base it off Sonic because Sonic is like really powerful, and that it just like keeps upgrading itself as Sonic like destroys Metal Sonics.
No, you know what? It's the buyer from Knuckles.
Shut up.
Oh, you mean
Knuckles.
Snivelly Robotnik.
No, our Snively equivalent is Stone.
I mean, I'd be curious of a Stone doing anything. It feels a bit weird if he was like became a villain again. I know that Robotnik wanted to kill Sonic and stuff, but Stone never seemed like he was like a truly evil person. He just like was weirdly infatuated with Robotnik.
And can you blame him?
Sure, yeah, I can blame him.
So if we know we're getting Amy and Metal, when are we getting Rouge?
Well, Rouge has to be 5, and then Silver has to be 6 for Sonic 06.
Oh,
right?
you're right.
No. Let's slow our roll back a bit. 5 would have to be Blaze, so that way Blaze can be around in 6.
I mean, she can just join it with Silver in 6.
Ah,
you, can
yeah,
have two,
sure.
you can have 2 characters.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
fine.
Or hear me out. It comes out in 2 years, Sonic 2026 for Sonic 4, and we just get the Sonic 06 plot.
Yeah, where does Metal Sonic fit in with Sonic 4?
Yeah.
Or sorry, Sonic 06. Where does Metal
Don't-
Sonic fit in there?
Don't worry, they're gonna have a TV series on Paramount Plus called Amy Rose, and it's gonna be all about Metal Sonic.
Ugh.
He's gonna team up with Wade to take out Metal Sonic.
I forgot if it was Keanu or Edris, but one of them mentioned that they wanted to do a series with Shadow and Knuckles, which means it would be all about some fucking random human girl getting a hockey trophy against Wade, the master of hockey.
Like the whole series is Knuckles and Shadow, I don't know, helping a young girl deal with her bullies at school.
Yeah.
Make her look a bit like Maria.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
use the same
Always,
actress,
of
honestly.
course, yeah.
Yeah.
So that way Shadow feels like inclined.
Knuckles tries to teach her how to punch, and then Shadow just gives her a gun.
Yeah.
The bullies are
That's
no
how I deal with
problem.
trolls. I just fucking kill them.
I feel like there's tons left to go through.
I mean,
Like,
one, there's so many Sonic characters in existence
yeah.
that if you introduced like one or even two per movie, you would be able to keep going for like a long time.
Yeah, I think at a point you're gonna run out of like names that'll actually matter, like that will get people hyped. Because no one's gonna be. Well, I might be like, hell yeah, Big the Cat teaser at the end of
Yo.
Sonic 7.
Yo, Froggy!
Bean the
Dude.
bird. Rin's a bean boy.
Bean and
I can
Bark.
feel it.
I do like Bean and Bark. I like Bean more. Bean the Dynamite.
Bean
Yeah.
the dynamite. Fuck off.
I guess
Friend the Sniper.
the big thing for future movies is not necessarily what like friend they introduce, it's what villain they use.
Yeah.
Because I think the
Yeah.
villain's the big thing. So obviously we have Metal Sonic in this next one, and he can go full Metal Overlord. You know, that can be the plot line. We could do a movie about Chaos, right?
Oh,
We could
yeah.
do Chaos. Oh, they technically already used the Flames of Destruction, technically, you know, but they can always bring it back.
I guess the issue with both Chaos and Metal Sonic, the real issue is, on one hand, it's good that they aren't as much characters as Jim Carrey's Eggman, but like, also, Chaos is just like a glob that wants to kill everything. How much of a character do you get out of that in Metal Sonic, you know?
Well, with Chaos, you need like a secondary villain that wants to like utilize Chaos for something, and then it goes horribly wrong because Chaos is uncontrollable, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what Eggman does in like Adventure 1. Is he's trying to like utilize Chaos for some world domination thing, and then we get perfect Chaos and it destroys the city and Sonic has to fight it. Metal Sonic can have a character. Like you could give him a personality and like thought, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's a robot. You can do that with him, so that's fine. I don't know about like Iblis and stuff. I didn't even play Sonic 06.
Well, the villain in those
movies.
movies is going to be Elise, is the thing.
What about the bad guy from Sonic Forces, whatever his name was?
I forget
Just,
his name.
I'm scared for the next person that takes over the antagonist role, is all I have to say. Do we go dark? Do we go zany? If you go zany, you're never going to get Jim Carrey levels. But if you go dark, well, I don't know.
Yeah, they would have to go with the villain that has a very different tone from Jim Carrey's Robotnik. Like,
Yeah.
that would be the main thing. Is they can't just try to do Robotnik again.
Like, if they go forward to 5, which they probably will, I'd say 4 has to ditch Robotnik. 5 can bring him back if it wants to. Because we do need that change.
Yeah, I think change would be good. I think, like, at this point, the series doesn't necessarily need Jim Carrey. I think the other characters do a good job of carrying it. I think, like, the only risk you run into right now is that, like, you could have issues with Shadow long term where he just becomes a second Knuckles in terms of, like, how they're characterized in the movies.
I don't think it would ever hit second Knuckles because a movie Knuckles is way dumber than like regular Knuckles is.
That's
Yeah,
true.
movie Knuckles is really dialing into that Sonic Boom Knuckles himbo energy.
A little bit, I guess. Knuckles Boom is Boom Knuckles is the best character actually.
He is the best character in Boom.
For anyone who hasn't watched Sonic Boom, that was actually a really good cartoon. Don't play the games; those ones suck.
Yeah, games suck, especially right. You know what? Let's do lyrics. The villain of the new movie.
What were the villains in Lost World? The Furious Six or whatever?
I don't know. I think
No,
one of
that's
them's
the
called like
Furious
The
Fast
Zappa.
Fast Five, I believe.
The Fast and the Furious.
When are we going to bring in the Babylon Rogues from Sonic Riders?
Oh, dude, a whole movie that's just Sonic Riders.
Sonic movie 7 is just gonna be Sonic and the Seven Rings or whatever the fuck.
Secret Rings. Yeah.
Oh, it's Secret Rings. God damn it.
Sonic 9 is gonna be subtitled Sonic Underground, followed by Sonic X.
Followed by My Little Sorry.
Sonic and the Black Knight.
Oh,
yeah.
no, that's Sonic 7. Or is that Sonic 8? I don't know.
Yeah, none of us know.
Sonic 8 was a bootleg Game Gear game, I think.
Sonic
no, that
11.
was Sonic Adventure 8.
That's Sonic Unleashed though. That's Sonic 11.
Oh yeah, Sonic Unleashed would make a decent plot to use, other than the fact there's no Eggman.
Is the world ready for the Werehog and Chip? Perhaps this movie Sonic will just become shit CG Sonic as his Werehog. Would that suffice?
With his
As-
just as long as he has massively inflated biceps.
Yeah.
Werehog gets defeated, they have to play the rank E theme. Perfect. It's brilliant.
Okay. Real talk.
we
Does
have the
fucking anyone have anything else to say about this movie other than, hey, it was pretty good?
It's just a general consensus.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was a good Sonic
it was
movie. It was a
solid.
good kids movie.
Yeah.
Had fun. It was worth going.
They didn't treat
Yeah.
kids like they're stupid, which makes it a good kids movie.
I always appreciate that when they don't treat the youngins like they've got 2 brain cells and one of them's putting its 3-week notice. I think we'll wrap it up here. If you've given the movie a watch, maybe drop a comment on what you think. If there's any weird Easter eggs we missed, I would love to hear them because those are fun. It has been a blast. I've been Rin, and with me has been Kaznarious.
I'm happy that there wasn't a wedding.
Sliv.
If you liked what you've seen here, please subscribe.
And the unnamed guest.
See ya.
Like and subscribe, it didn't record. Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Hooray!